Welcome to another video. This club meeting is gonna be challenging because baby boy wants to, enter the meeting, and it's a girls only meeting. So let's see what he's going to do. But how are you doing? How has it been? How is life? How was your weekend? I hope you had a good one. I hope you had a blessed one with family, friends. I've missed you. I missed you a lot because, as you know, last week I was facing technical issues, so I couldn't do the 2 meetings that I had planned. So I really felt a gap. I really felt like I was missing something, that my week was kind of incomplete because of that. And I felt disappointed because I did my best. The video was so gorgeous and all the recipes were in the video. And every time I tried to export the video, it just kept saying failed. And I tried to fix it. I deleted the whole video, started over, looked where the issues could have been. I fixed the issues, and still it was telling me there are more issues. And then I had to face reality that I had to delete everything again and make the video again, but this time without all the footage that I insert in there of all my recipes. So I was really disappointed because it really added to the video to see what I mean when I'm talking about certain recipes. But that's okay. Nonetheless, I got it up and we still met each other last week. But today is a new week. It's Tuesday, new blessings, new opportunities, new ways to connect with each other, with friends, family. So I also wanted to know, what do you think of Tuesdays and Thursdays? Because I made the decision, but that doesn't mean that this is the best decision for every club member, because I want all club members to be, club members to be comfortable, that it meets their lifestyle. If you are somebody like, no, I want it later or earlier or just on another day, let me know. Because I thought of, first of all, I started uploading on Wednesdays and Sundays, just like a lot of influencers are. And then I came to the realization that I am not an influencer. My audience are housewives who are, most of the time, we're going to be busy in the weekend with other functions, events, family gatherings. So you probably won't be, you're not looking, or that is not the time to be having club meetings. Also on a Wednesday, although a lot of moms are busy, there are a lot of activities for children on Wednesday, because in Dutch is Woensdag, so I mix English and Dutch. On Wednesday, and also the time, even if I upload 7 o'clock at night or in the evening, most of us are busy getting the children together for bedtime. So that was not a great time for us housewives. So I was like, mornings are better for you when the children are in school. Maybe you have time for yourself. You still need to have breakfast, or you need to get yourself together. Then it's the perfect time to have a meeting. That's why I said Tuesday and Thursdays 10 a.m. But if you feel like this is not my time or this is not convenient for me, let me know. So, also I was watching a movie, is it a chick flick? Is the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Never saw it before. I saw it on Netflix. I watched it, I think, 3 times and in 3 different time frames, because the day that I can fully watch a film from front to end, the days like that are really over. So I watched it a few weeks ago and then stopped and then rewatched it in the weekend, and they were talking about rules. And I'm like, yes, I have a club, I have a sisterhood, but we don't really have rules. So this is just a announcement. How do you call it? Just an announcement or something we really need to take care of, because we have a sisterhood and we don't want every and anybody to come into the sisterhood that will not add to the bond that we have, the experience that we share. So we really need some rules. So I will be posting the rules in a newsletter by the end of the month. So you can expect that maybe the last day of July or the first day of August. I'm going to do my best because it's summer holiday, and hopefully we will get everything up, because my friend who has helped me was also going through some things. So she really, put the work a little bit behind her, but she said, I'm back on it. So we will get this done, but I will put in the rules, and I want us as a sisterhood to make the rules. So every club meeting, I will ask you to think about rules. There is no limit. We want it to be as thorough and strict in that sense. We really want to eliminate certain people entering the group. We really want to build a culture, meaning how we communicate with one another, what we expect from one another, because we are here to build culture. This is our little sisterhood, and we decide as a group who we want to, want in our sisterhood, because it has to be someone or people who will elevate us, empower us, that we can connect with, we can share experiences with. We don't want people who are negative or condescending, who are not tolerant to other people. This is our safe space. So we really need rules that can protect the integrity of the group. I think I said that right. First rule that I am going to put up. This is the first rule. You have to be a housewife. You have to be a housewife. That is the first rule. And I hope you agree with that. I hope all of you agree with that you have to be a housewife. It doesn't mean that you have to have children, but just be a housewife. That is the first command. Is it a command? Commandment. Is it a commandment or is it a command? Help me with my English, because English is not my first language. And even my first language, I don't speak it perfectly. So, but you have to be a housewife. So I will challenge you to add more rules. And I will also put the rules. I think there's a section here on YouTube where you can put info or some type of bio. I will also insert it here. And also, it's going to be hard for us because everybody can subscribe to the channel. I mean, everybody can subscribe. But I'm really going to, friend, you know who you are, my little teammate, my partner. I think we should maybe make a question list where people can take their time to fill it in, so that we can really filter the type of people we are letting into our space. And if you want to help, help me. You help me the best way we can filter out people who are not going to be in the group. We really need house rules. So if you have questions that will really help filter people who are not housewives, people who are negative, people who are just don't belong in our sisterhood, help me out. So if you are a lady that wants to put that task on yourself, let me know in the comments or send me a message, so you can be the one that really filters out the group members. And maybe in time we should also vote which members will come in or who is not allowed to come in. I really want this to be a sisterhood that we are doing stuff together. I might be the one that initiates things, but that doesn't mean I'm the one that will have the final decision. I think we should all decide if we want to have certain members, which charities we want to fund, which activities we want to do, which type of events, which ventures or brand deals we should aspire to, work towards to. I want us to do it together. That's what a sisterhood is for. That's why I needed friends, because I don't want things to do things by myself, especially when it comes to girl things. Yeah, Popo. Also, last week I gave you an assignment. I said exercise a few weeks ago, but I meant assignment. And the assignment was, who are the housewives that inspired you, known or unknown? It's kind of hard if the person is unknown, because if it's somebody in your local area, we don't really, we cannot look that person up. So it's easier to get somebody who is known. But I understand that is not always going to be the case, because I think it's very important to remember who the women were before us, because this housewife thing is a niche. It's rare. I think you're gonna see less and less and less and less housewives as time will progress. So it's important to remember the women before us, to see the sacrifices they've made, to acknowledge the work they have done, because being a housewife is not easy. It has a lot of perks, of course. Like I always said, you've gained time. You are the master of your time. You can decide how you want to spend your time. Of course, you have to do tasks. Of course, you have children, or maybe you do not have children, but there's nobody controlling you, and you can do whatever. And I think people underestimate that. I always say that in the group. I think a lot of people underestimate what time really means, and that it's so valuable, it's precious. And the fact that you are at home, spending time with your family, your children, even friends, or even network and socialize, that's all being made possible because you are at home, because you have your husband who's working for you, who's creating the funds so that you can stay at home and you build a life for yourself where you can create or build or just be who you want to be. But you can do so much more even if you're a housewife, and that is also what I've become more aware of. Because most of the time when we think of being an entrepreneur or building, we think about money and making profit and scaling and pushing yourself as hard as possible. But now that I am a housewife, I don't feel the drive to make money, which is weird. It's weird to say, because everything nowadays is about money and how much things you can sell, products and stuff like that. And money is status, money is power, is influence to a lot of people. But in my mind, a lot of women back in the day were housewives, but money was not a thing they lived by. It was more something that men chased because they were the ones that were taking care of the family. And women, and this is how I saw this is how I interpreted back in the days, or interpret back in the days. I might be totally wrong because I wasn't living back then, but I feel like the beauty of being a woman is creating without the pressure of making money, but really making a difference in somebody else's life and being fulfilled by that. Does it make sense what I am saying? Because it makes sense to me. Meaning you create something so beautiful or powerful, influential, without money corrupting your mission or your vision. Because a lot of people do things because money is the thing that drives them. Of course they want to make a difference in somebody else's life, but they are also so driven by money because they have to pay bills. They have, there are other things that are influencing them to conduct their business in a certain way that sometimes they forget morale, they forget integrity, because there are other things that are weighing on them. The beauty of creating something where you do not have the strain of or the weight of money, it becomes so light and airy and fun. Because I felt when I was being an entrepreneur, I've always been a housewife, or at least for the last 10 years, but there are always certain things I'm creating or doing, and it always came back to money. How can I make money? How can I invest here? How can I create more sale so that I can get more money? It feels so freeing that I don't have that anymore, and that I can be influential or inspirational to another woman without selling, without wanting really something from her. Just community building. I think we women are so great in networking and socializing. That is really a strength that almost all women have. We can easily make friends. We can easily connect over something as lipstick. Look at the beauty industry. Look at all the beauty influencers. We can connect with something that is so simple because we share the love of lipstick or fashion or interior design. And no money needs to be involved. Just the fact that you use a lipstick that inspires me to try a different lipstick, or even try lipstick if I've never tried lipstick before, or try a new brand. I love that community building. And I know there are a lot of women in the past that had the same outlook on building or entrepreneurship. And also a way to share your voice. That's why I want to mention Phyllis Schlafly. I never heard of her until like 4 years ago, when my husband told me I'm a trad wife and I didn't know what it meant. And then I wrote an article in a Facebook group, and somebody in the comments said, oh, she's probably a trad wife. And I was like, this is the second time that I'm hearing this term. Let me read up on the term trad wife, because I didn't know what it meant. Then I was doing my research, and then I saw Is it St. Williams? She was the face of the Threadwife movement. Not really the face, they made her the face of the Threadwife movement online. And she had an interview with, I think it is it, what is his name? I think his name is also Matthew Knowles, or maybe Martin Knowles. He was part of the, how do you call that? You know, Ben Shapiro has his platform, and he was one of the influencers that had a platform. And he was talking about Phyllis Schlafly, and I was like, who is Phyllis Schlafly? Then I started doing my research, and she was a housewife that stood for something. It doesn't matter what she stood for, because that is not what this is about. You can do your own research, but she showed the world that you can be a housewife but still be involved in society and not be on the outskirts, and still have an opinion and still have fight. That you stand for something, that you will fight for it, and that you will do everything in your power to, you know, protect the thing you believe in. And I think that's a great example, because I don't like it when people say a lot of, but people think that being a housewife means you're lazy, you sit at home, you don't have an opinion, you don't, you know, because you don't bring money to the table. And people are so really obsessed with money, and they believe, not all, but a lot of people believe that because you make money, you are more powerful, more influential, that you have, you know, that you are better than, that your voice weighs more than somebody who doesn't make money. But if you look at the people throughout history, I hear a lot of people say Martin Luther King. He is one of the most influential people who have walked the earth. Nobody knows what his net worth was. Nobody knows how much money he made. But he was so impactful, so influential, because he had a vision. He had something he stood for, and he fought for that. And for me, I'm not saying that I'm going to do that, but I also feel like I have that I can be of service to society or to my community. And I do it just through being, you know, starting this sisterhood of housewives, and so that we can stand together and get to know one another. Because sometimes it feels so, I don't want to say lonely, but you feel like you're one of few. But by having this sisterhood, you can meet other housewives, and you can see that, oh, I'm not the only one. Oh, it's a sister house right near me, or just a few meters removed from me. So that you can really build a friendship and get to know one another. Because within where I live, I know a few housewives, and I talk to them when I'm at school, but outside of school I don't really talk to them a lot, because also, okay, let me say, I talk to them a lot, but we could do more. And I would love to have, you know, I love to have them in the sisterhood, but also I would like to have housewives that are just like me, meaning that love fashion and love makeup, so that I can also connect with them. And just to see that being a housewife is so diverse. There's not one housewife. There's not one, you know, being a Stafford wife is one thing. You know, being ultra glam and a perfectionist and, you know, doing all of that. Then you have more the mother thread wives, because that is also a new concept, and that is a bit derived from a Stafford wife. And then you have just a housewife who's just is not into fashion and not into beauty, or doesn't even cook maybe, or doesn't have kids. It's a community by itself, and it's very broad, and that is what I stand for. And I think you can be influential even though you don't make money. I don't think money makes you more valuable. And it's hard to say in the time where we live in, because everything is money. The car you drive, the house you live in, it represents something to somebody. And instead of seeing it, oh, you have this home because you have a lot of children, or you have this home because it's convenient for your lifestyle. You know, it's more like, okay, I have money, so I have a home with 20 bedrooms. You don't need it, but just because you have the money. So it's different for a lot of different housewives. That's why I like a Phyllis Schlafly, because she showed that, yes, I'm a housewife. Yes, I have children, but I have an opinion, and I'm going to make sure that you know what I stand for. And that's what I love about it. So if you have another housewife that you feel like, okay, she needs to get her shine, let her know in the comments. Because I think we should remember these women. You know, I also like Katherine Jackson. Now that the Michael movie is out, she was a housewife. But look what she did. She made all the outfits for the Jacksons at the time. So she was creative. She had the time to make outfits, the outfits we all love and adore when we look at the Jacksons and what they have done in the world. It was a housewife that created that look, that attributed to their career, of contributed to their career. So being a housewife, you are very much influential. And that's why I feel sad for housewives that aren't that comfortable or confident, because they feel like they are less than, because you have conversations of certain men or women, you know, in nowadays on social media, podcasts of what does a woman bring to the table, or what does a housewife bring to the table. And that only shows that that person is ignorant and has no clue what it means to be a housewife, and they think they are more significant because they have money. If money becomes between you and your marriage, you have a problem. Even if money becomes between a friendship, it could be a, you know, parent-child relationship, it won't work. Money should never be a conversation. I feel like if you talk about money in that sense to make you feel better, that's such a poor mindset. Because I believe that people who are up here, money is not a conversation. They do business because they like one another, they network, they socialize, and it's all about, how can I put the best person on my team? Which person do I like? Which person I work the best with? Which person brings out the best in me? And I think that is how you should approach life. Not because, oh, I like the person because they have money. Oh, I like that guy because he has money. He's a 6-figure earner. He's a high value man. No, because I don't know. But for me, it feels like you put him in high regards because that person makes more money, when it's all about having great character, good manners, integrity, all that stuff. So with that said, I want to go to the subject of this week, or at least for today, because it will all tie it in. Okay, because I was listening to James Brown, It's a Man's World. I saw video footage years ago when Michael Jackson surprised him at the BET Awards, and I found the full clip, because I can remember that my mom had it on tape, and it's been years since I've seen that tape. That's how old it is. And I saw it on YouTube, and I was just mesmerized on you know, the musicianship and the performance and the lyrics and how he described how he saw, you know, the world as being a man's world, but it would have been nothing without a woman or a girl. And it inspired me to, you know, talk about a few things. And yes, it's a man's world, but it would have been nothing without a woman or a girl. And that's how I really see it when it comes to my lifestyle. Yes, my husband works. Yes, he's the one who makes the money. But trust me, and he also admits it, he could not survive without me. Of course, he survived in the past. He was a single man. He was living on his own. But that was before he met me. Before he had children. Before we built this life. Now, without me, he would be completely lost. Which is normal, because to take care of 4 children, working, cleaning the home, and all the things that come with it, he could never. Okay? And also on top of that, and that is what I really want to talk about today, and it's vulnerable to me, and I hope some of you can relate. Yes, I chose this lifestyle. Yes, my husband works. Yes, I'm at home with the children. Meaning I'm mostly the one that does all the things for the children. Meaning bringing them to school, doing their lunch boxes, picking them up at home with the young ones, taking them outside, doing the groceries. I do it all. My husband works from now like 6:45 till 2 or 3. Sometimes he's 5. It depends on which shift he has. And sometimes I feel like I am doing it by myself. And that is also because, and that's, I want you to raise your hand if you are married to a man who is a builder. Because I am also married to a man who is a builder. So aside from his job, and he's a blue collar guy, when he comes home, he will start building on his business. And that one is tough for me because everything is work. Whereas if he would have just had one job, he would have come home. We could have, you know, family time. We could, you know, he would be more present. Now he comes home, he says hi, maybe we speak like 15 minutes and then he's off to his room. My husband is on social media. So backtrack, he was on social media before he met me. Not really, he made maybe one video, and he's really into relationships and talking about relationships and why are they failing, what you should do, more like relationship content. And we wrote a book a few years ago. In order to promote the book, of course, you have to be present on social media. So he is looking for ways to connect to his audience so that he can really claim his spot on being that relationship, how we call it, guru, just influencer, and then, you know, eventually sell his book.
Yes.
So he's on social media trying to figure it out. Only trying to figure, he's figuring it out. And this has been basically almost 10 years. Off and on. So that means more weight is on my shoulders. And I really know, I believe that somebody's watching right now and is like, yes, my husband is also a builder. It takes a different type of housewife to be with somebody who is building a different career. And in the beginning, it requires a lot of time, a lot of effort. And that is not easy. Because sometimes I just want to be like, I want to rest. I want to, shift some of that weight of my shoulder to his shoulders. But it's not always possible. And I really have to talk to myself and really protect myself from not feeling resentment. Because sometimes it feels like, why am I carrying all this weight? Even though, yes, I am a housewife. And the thing of being a housewife is he works, you take care of the home, the kids, and everything that comes with it. But it would have been a problem, or let me not say problem. It would have been so challenging if I probably had, a real sisterhood around me, meaning sisters or, maybe a mom who isn't, will I say maybe her age. My mom isn't the youngest anymore. Also, she is not used to raising 4 children. She only had 2. So she's not that experienced in that department just to say, oh, mom, here are the kids. I need time for myself. She will do it. But I'm also don't want to, I don't want to bother her as much, But sometimes I really feel like, why am I carrying all the weight? It's not easy. It's not. And I'm really doing my best. But that is dealing with somebody who is building. And that's a totally different housewife. It's a totally different experience from somebody who is a housewife and their husband comes home maybe at 5 or 6 and he's done with work and work is done. But you have some, husband that work comes home and they are not present. And sometimes I feel like, isn't that important? We have a home. We have food on the table. Is it worth it spending all that time, online, making videos, being disappointed, things don't work out, sometimes they do, and missing out on life, your children, marriage? That is how I feel. That is my thought process, but that's because I'm in a different phase of my life. I'm a housewife, so the most important thing to me is to be present with my family, to be present with my kids, to have fun with my children. And I feel like, I hope he doesn't regret later on in life and feels like it was not worth it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I hope he will see that it's worth it, spending time away from his family and catering to people and their needs. And that's hard because I know God put us on earth. Everybody has a purpose. And that's why I'm telling you, it's not easy, because I need to be strong and not discourage him to stop what God has put on him. That's why I say always, love is freedom, and relationship, marriage is freedom. You should let go and let people do what they are supposed to do, what God put them on earth to do. But that's not easy. It's not easy. And that's why it's the woman behind the man. Because we as women also sacrifice. As housewives, we sacrifice, especially when you are with a builder. And I'm still blessed, because if I need him, of course I can call him and he can, help and support me. You have some housewives where their husbands are gone for weeks, months, days a time because they are building. So that's why I want this sisterhood, so that we can talk to one another. Maybe you have the same feelings of resentment, or, you know, is it worth it, the sacrifices? Of course, it's going to be worth it if there's more money coming in, so that you can create more opportunities for yourself, for your children, maybe get into a bigger home as the family is growing, because that is also a possibility that the family will be growing. You outgrew your environment. You might need more tools or gadgets to support the paths that your children are, you know, walking, because they are at the beginning of their lives. They need support. They need to develop. They need certain things to get them to the best versions of themselves. And you need funds, you know, but it's not only funds, it's also knowing the right people. But that is hard. It's not easy to be a housewife. And that is also part of being a wife, is to support your husband and to support his vision and help where you can help. And if that means you take stuff from his plate so that he can fully focus on what God wants him to do, that's what you do. And God has made you strong. God has selected you to be his wife. It's not by accident. It's all purpose. It's all intentional. And that is what I tell myself. Debi, you are the perfect wife to him. You got this. God is building me up. He's making me stronger, or he's showing me my strength. Let me put it like that, because he already knows that I'm strong. I'm just finding out what my strength is and what my capabilities are, and what I just see who I am, and I'm grateful for who I am, and I appreciate who I am. And that's why it's going to be real hard to tell me that being a housewife is negative, or that it will be negative for me, because I'm so confident in who I am. And because of this choice that I made to be a housewife and to be married to my husband, I really see myself for who I really am, or what God, or how God sees me. Because I'm so mesmerized and in awe of who I am and how I'm handling everything. And of course, I'm not perfect. There are a lot of things that I still have to do, but I'm doing it. And I tell myself, give yourself grace. You only need time, baby steps, and you will finally reach that, you know, you will reach your full potential. I never gave up. I always push myself. People are also always shocked when they see me. I saw a lady, her son was in my class. We were in the same grade when we were in, is it elementary school? In Holland we say basisschool, like grade, you know, 3rd grade to 6th grade. And I hadn't seen her in a long time, like a long time. Her and my mom are friends. She's also Surinamese. And she was walking with her sister. And she was like, Debi, wow, you have 3 children. Because I was with 2 of them. No, I was with 2 of them. She said, you have 2 children. I was like, no, I've got 4. And she was like, you would never tell that you had 4 children. You look amazing. Wow, this is unbelievable. And I was like, I always say, I'm doing my best. So I really feel good when people acknowledge or see me and see the effort I put in, because it's effort. I don't have to do all of this. I do not. But I want to do all of this because I find it very important for other people to see that it can be done. You can be a mom, you can still take care of yourself, you still can take care of your body and how it looks and how you dress it, you know, stay fit, stay healthy, stay strong, because I have to, because my husband is building. So I have to take care of myself. I have to rest well. I have to eat good. I have to take care of myself because I have to carry a lot of things. My plate is really full, and everything that he cannot do, it will be added onto my plate. But God said I can do it. And it's amazing what you as a one person can do and achieve. So it's not easy, but you can really see from which cloth you are cut. And this is my assignment. Your assignment can be totally different. And that's the beauty of being a housewife. It doesn't look alike. I was perfectly made for my husband. You are perfectly made for your husband. And hopefully your husband is doing what he's supposed to do. Maybe he already started building. Maybe he's already further along when it comes to building. And, you know, and I hope that he appreciates you for what you do, what you give up, what you put in, how you carry yourself, how you how can I say this? You add. You don't extract, because a lot of people believe that being a housewife will extract. No, you add to what they are, and they bring out the best in you, and you bring out the best in them. And your best doesn't mean you're gonna make millions and millions of money. Your best is just to build other people up. And that's a great skill to have, because you're also building children. And this is completely selfless, because you know you're not getting paid for it. You just enjoy it and it fills you up. It's not about money. I help my husband. It fills me up, because by helping him, how do I help him? I give him advice. I listen to what he has to say. I think with him. I taught him how to edit videos. Let me see, because the time. I helped him at first to edit videos. I taught him, like, this is how you use the software. This is the software I'm using. He chose his own software, and that is how he started making videos. I challenged him to write a book. I already started writing a book years ago. He wanted to write a book. I challenged him. I helped him. I inspired him. So that is how he, you know, got better. And now he's doing his own thing. He doesn't need my help when it comes to that department. But he still values my opinion. He still asks me, babe, what do you think of it? Or look at this video. What do you think of this? And we'll have a whole conversation. And after an hour, he'll be like, thank you. I really needed this. And he starts, you know, writing down notes, and he starts making his videos. And it's because I put that in. But at the same time, he has helped me to become who I wanted to be, because I wanted to be a housewife. I wanted to be at home with the kids and do my makeup and I'm doing that. So by helping him, he helped me. And that's why I'm happy, because I really am doing what I really wanted to do. But still, sometimes I feel some kind of resentment, if I'm being honest, because sometimes you're just tired, you're just fatigued, and you're like, God, why can't he be like this? Or why can't he help me more? Or you start comparing yourself. I'm just only human. But then once I get these thoughts in my head, I'll be like, snap back. Don't compare yourself. This is your journey. this is what God wants for your life. This is your assignment. You're blessed. Your children are not sick. Everybody's healthy. Everybody is doing well. Your husband is happy, meaning he's being fulfilled, because yes, he's working a job, but that is not what he wants to do for the rest of his life. And he's working on his dream. He's, adding to society. He's helping men to see relationships differently. And if that is what it's all about. Because if he wouldn't have met me, he wouldn't go into this direction. So to really help him, go into this direction is showing me my strength, that I can be really influential. And there are men out there who talk about women should just not talk, and if you listen to your wife, you're just stupid, blah 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 blah, in the manosphere. But who else to confide in if you cannot confide in the person you're sleeping with, the person you are building it with? Because at the end of the day, you're doing it for your family. You're doing it for your wife, your children. And if you cannot confide in her, who else? Your friend who you're not going anywhere with? Yeah, you can be friends. But at the end of the day, if something happens to you, your wife is the one that will take care of you, that will take care of, the life you have built. And if you made a mess out of your life, she will be the one that will be cleaning it up. So I'm just grateful that I have a husband that appreciates my input and what I bring in. Of course, I would like to be more appreciated, but that's just me. Sometimes a little gift, a little diamond wouldn't hurt, but in time. I like what I like. I ain't gonna lie. I like myself, some jewelry, some diamonds, some sparkle. But that is not what I'm doing it for. But it's nice if you will be surprised, one day, and he brings, something you really love and that you will really wear, and that will make you feel good. But yeah, it's not easy to be a housewife, but it's very fulfilling, and to see that your input really somebody does something with your input. Because when it comes to social media, and I see it with my husband, when he makes his videos and he puts a lot of effort in, and there are 0 likes or just 500 views, or you do not know how you inspired someone. And if you inspire someone, because you cannot see them, you don't know what they are going to do with that information, and if they are going to, apply it at home. Here at home, I can see what he does with my input. I see it immediately. So it's kind of instant gratification, which will make you feel good. But when it comes to social media, when you make the videos, put in the hours, put in all the work, and then you see 1 like, 2 likes, you're like, this? So I always tell myself, be grateful, because there are men, there are husbands out here, their wives be talking to them, and they do not listen. They're doing their own thing and they bump their heads. So I'm grateful that I have a husband that really respects me, loves me, listens to me. Of course, he makes his own decisions, but it's nice to know that he can also appreciate my input. So let me know how what your experience is as a housewife who is married to a builder, or even housewife who's married, but your husband, his job is so demanding, which prohibits him from being fully present. Because we are just talking vulnerability here. I'm just being vulnerable. I have to cut the meeting. I think it's almost an hour. I hope it is. I should put alarm, but I have given you what I wanted to give you. Rules, don't forget the rules. Those are the most important, because I don't want any and everybody to come into our little sisterhood. I want it to be selected. I want, maybe we can, we gonna create some kind of hoopla to see if you really want to be into the sisterhood, because this is just, you know, the recruitment part of it. But as we get more to the website and the newsletter, and where you really have to give some of your information, that is really where we can talk without, you know, having interference from the outside world. So I cannot wait for that, because I have a lot of ideas, and that's why I want to, you know, the reveal of the name. You know, I'm protected of our little baby, because I don't want somebody to run away with the name and then we have to start from scratch. But I'm really excited to see where this platform is heading. I'm seeing so many visions into my mind, but you know, I don't know if it's God talking to me, showing me where he wants to lead me. I just know I'm on the right path. It just being here every week, twice a week, it really fills me up. I cannot wait to have the conversations with other housewives. I was also thinking about maybe inviting one of the housewives of Amsterdam. I've never watched the show, to be honest, but housewives need to support housewives, right? So why not invite one of them in and do an interview? So if you are you like the housewives, the whole franchise, let me know if you know somebody who is of the franchise and is a true housewife. And I know it's a bit hard because most of these women are, you know, became business women. But if you have a housewife that really leans more towards being a housewife, let us know. Maybe we can interview them, you know, let them be inspiration to our little sisterhood. Let me check the time. I've got to go. I love you. You know what I always say, the best things in life are free. So give me something that money cannot buy, and that's a like and a subscribe to this channel. Also share with your bestie housewife friends or little sisters, only the housewives. So if you know a friend who's a housewife and that needs friends in a sisterhood where we can just talk and share and, you know, do all things housewives do, let her know that we exist on here. Yes, I love you, and I see you on Thursday. Don't forget the rules, because we will write the rules in the info section and it will be posted in the newsletter, and we're just gonna add to the list. All right, I love you. And the first rule is you need to be a housewife, because if you're not a housewife, you are not allowed here. Can we add aspiring housewives? Maybe. Let me know in the comments. I love you so much, and I will see you on Thursday.